Hello, Madan. Good evening.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Madan.
Yeah,
How are
good
you?
morning. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, yesterday I didn't join.
No problem. No problem. So, have you received all these documents for the second
Yeah,
set of assignment,
yes,
right?
yes, I reach.
Okay. You take your time. I will not push you to or do all because it is a massive material again. Okay.
Okay,
You take
okay,
your time and whenever you are facing any issue, just drop an WhatsApp message or during our discussion, we'll discuss that. Okay.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So today we will be covering another important topic, that is your workflow, and how to design a workflow in SuccessFactors LMS, how to
Mm-hmm.
attach those workflow to any learning item. Okay, so that whenever an employee is going to attend a particular training program, he will be going through that particular workflow process. Okay, he has to follow those steps and all that. I will be showing that. Okay, so first of all, I'll be showing you where workflow is actually attached. So if you have observed any specific item, if you go any of these items, there is a field called workflow required or not. So you have to say if there is no workflow required, it is fine. So we'll not be going through that. So if it is, say, there is something called approval required. Okay. So here
Okay,
we have mentioned it is a no. So ideally, as a best practices, we suggest most of the online training program we don't attach any workflow if it is not involved any cost. Okay, so that
okay,
employee can go and choose, because if you are attaching workflow again, somebody will be approving and it will delay your learning progress and everything. So we recommend as a best business practice, most of the online training program, or whenever the user or the learner is discovering something in the learning catalog and he is interested to do that course of his own, don't attach any approval and all those approval processes or nothing. Okay, simply you make it approval required as a no. Okay, suppose if the
okay,
approval process is required, if it is yes, then you have to, in the second step, you can set a workflow here, approval process. Okay, so here these are
okay,
all these are, there is no workflow inbuilt in the success factor. So automatically you will be getting through this. You have to create a standard, you have to create a custom workflow. Basically one step, it can be one steps, two step and all. Okay,
okay,
so in system what happens, there are some workflow, means by I'll be going through how to create a workflow directly. So there are actually two. Here I have created two workflow. One is the first one step. Second is a two step. One step is here as per the business process for this project. We have created one step, that is a supervisor. Second step is second two level of approval workflow is actually starting with supervisor followed by HR. So there are two kind of workflow we have designed. So how to design a workflow? You can directly click this plus button here. So if you want to create any new workflow, otherwise you can come to this reference section as well. So both will take you to the same configuration point. Okay, so I'll show you from the configuration point of view. If I go to references, learning, and here, and just a minute, here, sorry, it is actually from here, system of admin. Okay, references, system admin. So there are two system admin. One, you can see this top, there is a system admin, so some of the configurations are done here, but the approval workflow design comes under references, and under references there is system admin, then approval processes. Okay, so from here we can create a new workflow. Okay, so if I do a search here, then I can see whatever the existing workflow are there, like one step supervisor, two step supervisor followed by HR. Okay,
So the process ID has been created by us, or like it's
yes,
a
so process
standalone?
ID will be auto generated. So means and when auto generated in the sense, actually you will be able to create. You have to give your own. Okay, so you
Okay,
should give a meaningful name so that you will be able. It is easy to track. Okay, so let's say I'll be creating a workflow. Say one step LMS, say finance, or two step finance. I'll be, let's say, first the learning admin. So depending upon the business process, it will vary from client to client, like who will be approving the workflow. In some organization, the first level of approval is the your supervisor or the first line manager. Second one is the learning admin. sometimes, and sometimes it is a finance or accounting team. So depending upon the business process, you can, it is very much flexible. So you can create and means up to 6 level of workflow in SuccessFactors LMS, but it is recommended not to go beyond 2 to 3 because it will unnecessarily increase your timing for completion of a particular process. So it is always recommended to go maximum 3. Okay. Say I'm creating a new workflow, the approval process. Say it is a two-step process, and you have discussed that with your business team. So that the first level of approval is a supervisor. Second level of approval is, say, it is a finance, followed by finance. Hmm. So in the process name, I will be little bit elaborate here. Like I'll be mentioning that it's a two-step supervisor and finance. Same, I can make it in the comment section. And domain also you can specify whether this workflow will be available in the public domain, or if you want a specific workflow to a particular domain. So it may happen in some in of your one of your business unit you need a 2 level of approval, and another business unit they have a complicated structure, they want a 3 level of approval for the same doing the same thing. So you can make two different workflow and you can attach the domain.
Okay.
So I will just put the point in the public domain as we are testing and testing environment. Then owner email means it's actually the admin. So as a LMS admin, I am creating this approval process. Let this approval process will be with me. So once it is done, I'll be getting this screen. Okay. So as I have mentioned, it is a two-step approval. Okay. So I have to mention who are the person or who are the what are the role I have to create during this. I have to clearly mention who will be the owner of that each step. Okay. So say with the first step, I have to mention it is a supervisor.
Okay.
Okay. So there are two options whenever you are creating the approval process step. So now I'm the first step. So there are two way of doing it. Okay. So first one is the approval role ID. So approval role ID you can use. Otherwise, you can directly hard code the user ID. Suppose it is a small organization, you are having only one LMS admin, or the your finance is one. Okay, finance team is only headed by only one people. So you can also fix it to user ID also. But if you are maintaining in the user ID, then every time that user changes, you have to come here and you have to change that user ID. Otherwise, automatically the workflow will not move. Okay. Suppose if you are choosing any approval role ID, then you will be able to. It is a dynamic. It is more dynamic. Suppose I am choosing an approval role. So these are my standard role, which is you can see the employee, HRBP, instructor,
Okay.
supervisor.
How do you know this is a standard role? Like you
So,
mentioned.
so these are actually standard roles in the sense what I have seen. So these are actually in this test environment, as per my knowledge, in the SAP SuccessFactors gives this kind of roles. Like if it is starting with employee, HRBP, instructor, and supervisor, a standard role. If you are creating any roles on the top of it, then we will be able to know that. Like you will be giving, depending upon the description or any specific approval role ID, we can know that. Okay. Suppose I've already shown how to create a role whenever we are discussing that domain restriction. In that we have shown that. Okay. So in that case, you can also add new approval roles also to it. So in this scenario, we are having supervisor as level one is the approver, first level of approver. So I'm choosing that. So you can see update approval roles to the approval process step. Okay. So now I will go. I can also, if I wish to add some user, then it will take me to that user list. Then who is going to the approver? I can also hard code that only that particular user. Okay. So now I will go to the next step. So in the next step, it will ask the step number 2. Step number 2, you can give finance approval. So here, as we are not having finance approval, right? So approval, we don't have any approval role, say the finance. So here on the go, we can create a new role here. How to create a new role directly from here? So I'm just showing you, just a minute. Okay, sorry, actually I didn't save that. So again, I have to create from the new,
Okay.
sorry. So I will just quickly do that. So this is my first step. First step, I will be supervisor. So the L1 supervisor will be responsible. I'll be applying changes. So at present, I'm not going to add any user ID, but you can add. It is an optional. So in the next step, as I don't have any finance role, I can go directly create a new approval here, new approval role. Say finance. Same thing I'll be giving in the description at level 2. Okay, so I have created a new approval role ID. So as you know, it is a second step of approval. So I will say finance approval. Okay. So as we have mentioned here two steps, so we will finish it here only. Okay. But system will allow, even if you are writing it a two-step, system will not determine from the text that it will stop here. So it is your decision. As it is a two-step process, you have to finish it here only. Okay. So I'll just
Okay.
finish it. Okay. So it is showing for this, you please select at least one user or approval role. Okay, so I have created that approval role ID. So it is telling that if you are creating for the first time, you have to choose it from here only. Okay, so the finance approval is already created. So I have to choose from here. Then I will finish it. Now, before completion means it will say for confirmation, like, so this is the process ID, two-step supervisor followed by the finance, and these are the step number 1, step number 2. This is just for your verifications, like these are just for confirmation. Once it is done, there will be a button called create process. So this is the process you are going to create. So now it is showing finished. The approval process has been created successfully. So this is the process how you have to follow while creating a new approval workflow. So now what I can do, if I want to attach it here, so now it didn't come here. I need to just refresh. If I go for the second time, then I will be able to see that workflow. So I will say yes. Then I can come here and I will see the two-step supervisor and finance approval. Okay. So this is the process you need to follow for any kind of while designing a workflow and attaching an workflow to an item. It is an admin activity. But as a consultant, you must be knowing this, how to create a new approval workflow. So this is the process we need to follow. So in the system admin, you can see there is something approval process we have seen. Similarly, the approval roles is all about the roles which we have created, right? That finance approval at level 1, we have created it on the fly. But if you want to create from here also, you can come here and you can create. Before creating any process, you can come here, you can create a approval role, custom approval role. Then later on, you can go to the creating the approval processes. Okay.
Oh,
So any question on this approval process? And this is because this is a simple thing. It's not difficult like in on-premise HCM where you have to take help from ABAP and all. Within 5 minutes, you can create an approval workflow and approval roles and all. Okay, it's very easy.
okay.
So next, I'll be covering. So we had remaining part of the reference section we are discussing. Okay. So I'll just complete all those remaining parts. Like these are basically settings actually. In the reference section, if you go to the calendars and time, you can see there are different date formal format patterns. So basically, depending upon the country, you will be using your specific date format. Okay. So which suppose there is generally we use DDMMYY and MMDDYYY. So if anything special for your business or organization, then you can come here and you can create a new date format here. So date pattern type, then the pattern you have to choose. If you're choosing a date or time, so accordingly you will be maintaining the pattern here. Okay, date pattern ID description pattern. But existing whatever the standard things are there, mostly it caters. So I have in my projects also I have not created anything. So we have used the standard one, like the system, what are the system given. Okay, some of the country they are using DDMM mobile, and some of the country they are using MMDTY, nothing other than that. Okay, so this is the
Okay.
point where you can create your date pattern and all. Similarly, in the calendar time section, there is something called holiday and holiday profile. Okay, so holiday is basically if you go to the holiday section here, there is a no here in this test environment. I have not created any holiday. Okay, suppose I am creating one holiday ID. This will be required because if you are using during your training calendar, suppose there is a holiday, then system will give an alert that yes, boss, actually this is an holiday. You are planning a training on this day. It will give an alert on that. Okay, so that is the main purpose of it. Say I am telling holiday, say I day, that is Independence Day. Say I am choosing 15th August. Apply changes. So this is the way you can create an holiday here. You can actually replicate if you've created any holiday calendar in Employee Central, the same you can replicate the calendar and time section. Similarly, there is a concept of holiday profile here. So what is the difference between holiday and holiday profile? So if we're going to holiday profile, so actually holidays are actually part of holiday profiles. Holiday profile you can think of an annual calendar. Okay. So it is just an ID we are giving. Okay. So
Okay.
it is a specific India specific holiday calendar. Or suppose in India we have many 29 states. So different states will be their own holiday calendar. Okay. So I'll be saying holiday calendar HC underscore Delhi. So let's say it will be actually this holiday profile is basically Delhi holiday calendar, and every year actually gets changed. So it is, let's say, for 2019. Okay, so
Holiday
here you
profiles.
can see under holiday profile, as soon as I created, there is a summary section and there is a holiday section. Okay, so if I go to the holiday section, then I can refer what are the holiday ID I have created and I can attach those holiday ID. Suppose the Independence Day is there. So Independence Day is holiday for every holiday profile. Okay. Whether it is a Delhi, you are creating a holiday calendar for Delhi or Chennai or any locations. So similarly, you can create as many as holiday ID, whatever the relevant. We can mirror it actually from the holiday calendar which you have created in the Employee Central. Okay, same thing you can replicate so that it will be you'll be getting alert on whenever you are creating any training planner or a training calendar. So you can plan it accordingly. So during your scheduled offering an item, system will tell say that it is conflicting because it is a holiday with. Hmm. So that is the reason. That is the main purpose behind creating this holiday and holiday profile. It is simple. So it's just a creation of this calendar timing. Similarly, next one is the time zone management. So time zone management, we have almost all time zones in whatever the countries we have available, but it may or may not be required to give all these time zones. Suppose your organization is having only working from India and US. Okay, so you don't need African time zone, you don't need European time zones. All those time zones are not required. Okay, so only the specific time zones you take it here, and there is no option to delete this time zone. So basically, what you can do, only display we can change. Okay, so it is not recommended to do any changes in editing. If you go to an individual time zone, you don't do any changes here. It is just simply just the standard configuration. You don't change any label or anything. Suppose if you don't want any specific, you just display. So in the last column, there is a display section. You tick it or untick it. Suppose your organization is having only two countries, India and US. Only relevant time zones you tick it, so that whenever you are choosing any course, only those two values will be displayed in the time zone field. Otherwise, if you have selected all, the entire list will be populated in the time zone list. Okay, so that is the main purpose behind this time zone management. Similarly, if you have what is something called work week profiles, it is similar to your holiday profile concept. Suppose you are having a 6 days work week. Okay, some of the banks follow 6 days work week, and some of the organization follow 5 days work week. And in suppose if it is the Middle East countries, then you will be having your Fridays off. Okay, so depending upon, so also I'm creating say a Middle East specific work week. Okay, so where weekday off is a Friday. Okay, so I can create a work week profile like this. So Middle East work week for Middle East. Suppose say they have Monday, Sun to Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'll be making only Saturday as off,
Okay.
and Monday to Thursday and Saturday they are working, and Sunday and Friday they have off. Okay. So this is how I can create a new work week profile. So I'll click apply changes. Now my work week profile has been created. This is how work week. And this is again we will be using whenever we are creating any scheduled offering, so that we can attach so that it will follow that particular work week profile. So this is all about your calendars and time management week profiles. Okay, in the reference section, it is very simple. So next I will go to the geography sections. Okay, geography section, if you see under references geography, there are 5 things. One is the country, job locations, levels, locales, and local levels. Okay, so if I go to the countries, it is similar to your whatever the calendar as I have shown you. So what are the countries you are going to implement? So depending upon that, you have to see those countries. Mostly there are in standard there are 200 plus countries. Okay, most of the countries will be there. But one thing you have to be careful here, if you are using for any kind of reporting purpose, you have to mention it the financial year here. Like some of the country they start like in India we start our finance year from the April. Okay, in some of the countries it might be from June, it can be from January. Okay, so you have to go there and you have to click from if your financial year is starting from which this thing, so that you have to just mention it here. Financial year, suppose it's starting with January 1st, then you have to just maintain that. Okay, so that is the only thing you need to do it here in the country section. Next is your in the geography we have job locations. So job locations actually this is uh, again specific to the client. Okay, so what are the locations they have their own presence. Okay, accordingly you have to create or whatever the things are there. You can create. There are some locations like this, so you can create. Suppose it is a Germany specific, so you can maintain. Suppose you have 5 branches in Germany, then what are the branches you have? You just maintain it here, so that whenever you are creating any scheduled offering, there will be a field called job location. This value will be populatedly there. So now you will not be able to visualize whenever you are creating any job locations in in scheduled offering. Then you will be able to see that yes, this field is value. If you want to create any add any value, then you have to come to in geography and job locations. Same is there. Suppose it's a level. Level is basically if you see like if you want to change any text. Okay, so suppose you are telling add content here. There is a text or there is a level called add content. You want to change the specific to a language. Okay, you are telling it in English it is add content. Okay, in German they are calling something, say I'm not able to read it, it's the inheit into den, something like that. In similar in the French you have something else, as this is actually an European, mostly European project, more dominated, no, dominated European project. So you will be seeing able to see apart from English we have Spanish, Serbian, English, your German, Spanish, French. Okay, still we are using some two, one is a Chinese and also English. So whatever the locales are required, so you can maintain it here. Okay, you want to add any locales from here, there is a list of locales. You can call these locales. Locales is basically your language specific, like Chinese, Danish, German, and all. Mm. For the label is basically how it will be displayed. Like in the right hand side, you can see label value. Chinese I can't read. Okay. So other things at least I can read. Add content. So these are the things you can maintain those labels into this local. Okay. So that is the main purpose of these labels. Similarly, we have under geography locals. So we have seen labels and also we have seen the locals. If you want to create any new local, you can come here and you can create a new local here. Suppose you are also part of a, you are
So,
implementing. Yeah, tell me.
okay. No, no, everything we need to create, is it? Like it won't
Yeah,
be.
it don't
Okay.
be anything. If it is there is in standard mostly English will be there. Most of the
Okay.
this thing. But if you want to create anything, you have to create from scratch all these things. Hmm.
Okay.
So if I want to create a new local here, so if there will be a local ID, actually there will be, if you see in the search bar, there will be a lot of local. There are 42 local as of now. Okay, so it will be in the standard. Okay, just you have to call that in the whatever you are making to active. Okay, suppose I want to Hindi. Okay, Hindi as my local. So Hindi is already there in my local directory. If you see the local directory here, there are 42 total records which is offered by SAP. So I just if I want to activate Hindi in my LMS, so I have to choose that Hindi language here. I will just choose Hindi here.
Okay.
And who will be using this? It will be using by admin only or user only or both. So you have to, it is always if I'm choosing both, then it will be easy for both admin and user can use it. Okay. And also I have to attach a currency here. So every local will be attached with a currency. So I'm choosing Indian rupee. So this is the concept of a local. Local means you think of it as a local. Okay. So in that way you can remember. Local means local languages. So like Hindi, I'm choosing here. So Hindi I can attach whenever I'm creating any course. So the content will not be in Hindi, but at least the text or something, whatever things are there, you will be able to see that. Okay. So whenever I'm choosing in local, it will say whether you want. There are 5 to 6 fields here. Okay. So whatever we have already seen, like decimal pattern, integer pattern, how it will system will behave. Okay, and the currency pattern. If I say currency pattern, if it is 1,000 rupees, then currency pattern will be shown as like this 1,000.00. Okay, the percentage pattern. So all these patterns you can see it here, like the date pattern, everything, DDMMYYY. So all these things you can maintain it here. Time local, okay, time pattern. Sorry, levels. Hmm. So Hindi you can see, right. So Hindi, if you have seen the Hindi local, so there is some, these are my existing levels. Suppose it is an approval process create. So approval process in Hindi they call it Swikriti Prakriya. Okay, so it is showing Swikriti Prakriya Banaye. Okay, so all is automatically translated in the levels. So,
Oh, okay.
so you don't have to write. Suppose there is a specific list of users who are not means suppose there are many, it's the manufacturing unit, and those people who are, they are not well acquainted with English, but they are good with Hindi, or any European countries also, they are very much sensitive about their languages like German, Spanish. They speak only in those languages. They don't speak most of the in the lower people, actually lower category people like blue collars. So in that case, you can use on those specific users. You can give this so that they can at least read all those things. Like if it is an external course, it is showing Bahari Pathyagram. Okay, so these are all given by, in India actually English and Hindi they had given. No other languages they have not created. Okay, so these are the two things you can use, leverage this concept. You are clear about, right, where we are going to use locales and how to, because if you have seen the levels, you will be able to understand it. Okay, like
Yeah,
started
yeah.
in date timing means praram dinang or samay. So all this text only we can change. We can, if you are choosing Hindi as this thing. Okay, so this is the way we can use. This is the concept of local. Means from existing, we are just choosing any specific local. We are just activating it. Okay, we are not creating from scratch because we will not be able, because this is a system design. We can't create a Tamil, Telugu, how to convert, because it's a completely translation service. Okay, so what,
Okay.
as soon as SAP creates that, we can activate it only. But
Okay.
some other things like calendar timing, some of these things we can create of our own. But many things actually like levels we can create our own. Okay, so these are the concept of level, locals, levels. So next I will move to the learning part we have already covered. Next I will come to the performance. So if I go to the performance, there are three things. Okay, one is competency categories, competency sources, and competency types. So what is the main purpose of the attaching competency? So as you must be knowing, so whenever there is a competence, so whenever you are in a training need is identified, mostly in case it is a competency gap. Suppose to perform a particular job, you need a particular level of competency. Okay, say the competency may be also having a some scaling, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is higher, suppose say, and 1 is the lower. Okay, to perform a particular job, you need at least the job requirement, at least you have to perform at the scale of 4. Okay, so how to identify from the LMS and how it is linked to your performance management, goal management module, that we will be covering it here. Okay, means those values actually are derived from this competency category, sources and types. And also there is a section called performance here. If in the learning admin, so in the learning admin also we maintain all those competencies here. So here you can see there are so many competencies, around 28 competencies are here, and these are all actually custom competencies. So there is, in the standard it will be blank. Okay, So it will be coming from your competencies library actually. So competency library must be knowing it is present in your provisioning. So in the provisioning, you are depending your after discussion with the business, you will be creating your own competencies library. And if the competency library is huge, then you can directly import that competency library from Bijex to here using competency connector. Okay, this is a one-time activity. Okay, so that you can derive it. Also, you can create. You can suppose here actually you will not be able to create anything. So you will not be able to see any add new option in competency. So ideally, it is recommended, and there is no choice. Also means you have to create competencies from using the competency connector. Okay, so that we'll be discussing in details whenever we'll be discussing the connector in depth. Hmm.
Okay.
So if you see any specific competency, say it is a innovation. Okay, so if I go and see here what is inside that competency, I can see. So in this, so whatever the things are there in the competency library, that will be flowing here. Okay. So in this competency, we have a description, rating scale. Okay. So whether it is an active or not active, that you can see it here. Hmm. And also, if I go to competency profiles, so present actually there is no competencies profile here. We are not means for this they have not used any competency profile in the BizX also. So what are the things are there? It will be flowing from the competencies library from provisioning. Okay. So if I go to the item, so here what I have done means for a specific for this training program, I have attached this competencies ID. So that I have done at the item level, not from the competency level. Suppose if you go to the item, so there will be an option to attach a competency to it. Okay. So if I go to any specific item, if I go to view all, I think they have customized it and they have removed it. Okay. Otherwise, there will be an option here, like how to create and how to attach competencies here. Hmm. Just a minute, I'll scroll to click more. No, actually they have removed that field as per their requirement.
Okay.
But there will be a section called competency. You can attach that competency. Okay, and that will be coming from here. Means basically it will
Here
be flowing.
that particular page also we can design, is it? That item page?
Design in the sense actually whatever the that I will be coming later on. Like so whatever the fields you don't require, you can change it actually as per your requirement. So there are so many fields, right? Active content types. So in catalog, there are so many fields. Suppose you need only some specific fields, but you can't create a new things here. You can do what you can do. Whatever the existing fields are there. So from the standard, you can remove. They actually most of the fields they have already removed it. Okay. So here you can customize these things. So there are different sections here. If you the item section, first is the summary section, and the sum after that extended summary, then the design, then the process control. So what are the fields you don't require, so that you can remove. And suppose if you want to add anything, then there is something called custom column. You have to create a custom field, and LMS allows up to 15. Okay, so maximum up to 15 columns you can add it. Okay, so how to create a custom column and how to attach to item, that we will be discussed later on in depth. This is how we can this is the place where we can attach any competencies or any fields you require. That is the overall concept of this thing. So I'll be showing, I'll check and I will confirm if or not possible. Another system I will be showing where I have the this competencies, how to attach the competencies. But it will be in the items level only. We can create that. Once it is done, it will be visible here. If you go to that specific competency, then under that competency, what are the items you can see? You can come here and you can see that here.
Okay.
Similarly, next is your objectives. So objectives are required mostly for your this thing like adaptive learning. Okay, so adaptive learning also we'll be discussing later on in depth. So they, at that point of time, we will be discussing the objectives. Learning objectives means basically once you complete a, means you are going for a particular innovation related competency, what are the main objectives? And it should be very clear cut, one sentence within one sentence maximum. So you discuss with your business and you create your learning objectives. But most many of the projects actually I have worked, I have not used this, but this is actually nice functionality. So if you are using any adaptive learning mostly, then you can use this concept of objective. Same is then we'll be going for the programs. So similarly, as we have an items, we can attach competencies to the programs. So once the program has been assigned a particular competency, that program will be visible here. Then next is your rating criteria. So rating criteria means actually the level. Suppose you are having a 5 level of competency criteria. So you can have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is the meaning of that rating criteria? Okay. So you can write down the sentence. Okay. Like what is the meaning? Suppose you are saying say 1 to 5 rating. What is the meaning of 5 and what is the meaning of 1? You just explain in this criteria and you can maintain that. Okay. So whenever there is a gap or competency gaps, the user or the admin they can mention that. If it is a 5, then this is the these are the criteria and these are the comment section that you can maintain in the rating criteria. And how to create a rating scale and all, I'll be coming later on. So this is the point where you can see the rating and rating level. So next one is your subject area. So subject area is the basically the filters. Okay, so if any specific related to your innovation, any sub topics are there. Okay, that only those competency wise you can filter it out. Whenever you are choosing any particular course in the catalog, that you can that will come here from here. Same is then again coming for task. Task actually it is required more from whenever you are using any kind of on the job training. Okay, or the so that is a step by step process you have to follow. Okay, so in that case, so where suppose there are some specific tasks for so, say innovation. So innovation is having some specific 5 to 6 tasks they have to perform anyway. So that task also you can align it to the competencies. Then next last one is your users. So say it is an innovation. Then who are the users who are fulfilling this criteria? They have completed a particular training program. Then they have acquired this competency, say innovation. So then I can see those all those users under this user tab of this competency of this specific competency area. So this is all about your competency. So generally, as to summarize, in competency we don't create anything from scratch here. So all those competencies are already created in the your PMGM, that is your competency library. And also you must have been, if you are into RCM, you must have been using this competency in your interview central also. So multi-purpose. So for that reason, we kept competency library in the platform itself, so that we will be using it in the LMS or RCM whenever it is required. So that is the most that's the motto of this competency, and how to attach this competency to items I'll be showing later on. If the system is in the system, I don't have that provisioning of the options. Okay, but that is simple. At the item level, you have to just choose that the particular competency, you can attach that.
Okay.
So any questions on this
It
competencies?
is. No, like that's what again the same thing. It's a really wide area, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
many
yeah.
small points.
Yes, yes. Actually, there are so many small dots, big dots, and while creating this admin and admin or any during any implementation, it's a huge task actually to the connect the dots. Yeah. So if I go to the learning performance here you can see the competency category sources and types. So if I say competency categories, so you can classify this competencies category also. Okay. So there are 30, more than 28 competencies in the competency library we have seen. Suppose if you want to make it more grouping, it's a kind of grouping. Suppose there are 5 to 6 competencies, you want to make a grouping of that. So you can have like base category, foundational category of competency. Suppose it's a role specific category. Okay. So we can make such kind of grouping also. Okay. So if I'm going to the role specific category, you can see there is an option called competencies here also. Okay. So here I can attach a specific, it's a kind of association, like what are the association I can make, so that I can make those competency category here. Hmm. Those competencies will be visible here. This is the main, actually these are actually not that much required. So in my projects, for my experience, mostly the only competencies idea I'm using, and which learning will be associated with which competency, so that the competency gap will be identified. That up to
Okay.
that level only I have used. But these competency sources, actually these are not that much useful. So actually
Okay.
those are actually plateau things, right? So plateau has all these functionalities. So still these things are there, but we may or may not use all these depending upon your business scenario. Competency source ID, what I will say, because this is asset competency. So even the admin also, whenever I was giving training or the work I was conducting in my different workshop, they also get so many things to be overloaded sometimes.
Oh, really?
Actually, it's very vast actually. If you see, compared to terminologies and the list of fields, these are actually very vast compared to all other. After Employee Central, this is one of the largest module.
Uh, at least there we have the flow.
Hmm.
Here there is no flow, but it is going well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing actually. So here, once I complete all these terminologies, now you'll be after 8 sessions, 8 to 7 sessions. Then I'll be giving you a flow, means like a business process, actual business process, and actual workbook. Whenever I'll be discussing, then you will be having an idea. Like yes, these are the things I have to do. I have to do after the configuration. This is the flow. Okay, so then you
Okay.
will be getting a more confidence, like yes, I can do this, and these are the flow, these are the steps I have to follow. Now also I'll be telling you, like whenever you are going for an implementation, what are the steps and what are the journey. Whenever I am talking about the journey of different persona, like users journey, your admin's journey, instructor journey, and whenever I'll be showing that complete journey map, then you will be able to visualize. See, those you will be these all these things will be in the backend, background thing.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
so then you will be see. Then next I'll be covering the physical resources. Okay, so whenever, so it will again under reference section, and so physical resources we have different things like equipment status, the facilities, locations, materials. Okay, so this is actually when the for a, conducting a, what is the main purpose of it. Whenever you are conducting any training program, you will be requiring a lot of materials, like it can be handout material, it can be training guides or pencil, pen, your sharpener, your marker, highlighter, projector, laptop.
Mhm.
All these are actually the resources. Okay, so how this resource, so we can manage it. Okay, that will be configuring it, even the locations also. Suppose meeting room. Okay, so those things also we can configure it here. And those, this is actually also we have to discuss with the client what are the relevant things. Hmm. During a cutover you can maintain it here. Okay, so I'll be starting with the equipment. If I go to equipment, in the test system they have not created anything. So if I'm creating a new, it will ask me for an equipment ID and equipment type. So if I see there is nothing called equipment type. Okay, so then I have to create a equipment type first. Okay, so what is the difference between equipment and equipment type? You will be knowing it just within next 2 minutes. So first I have to go for a equipment types. Okay, I will check if any equipment type is there. It is nothing. There is no equipment type. So I'll be creating an equipment type. So what is the meaning of equipment type? Suppose you are creating a projector. Okay, so in your organization, say you are having 10 projectors. Okay, so you have to name those projector and level it. Okay, projector 1, projector 2, projector 3. Okay, otherwise you can maintain it department wise, HR team projector, finance team projector. Okay, so depending upon your scenario. So in that case, projector, I'll be have created a one equipment type ID called projector. Say projector for organization. Suppose say organization name is say best pharma. So I have created now a equipment type here. Okay, so projector, so it is showing. Okay, so it will not allow the spaces. Okay, so if there is any spaces, then it will not allow. So I have created a equipment type. So after similarly, I can create equipment type, say laptop. I can create like equipment type of any stationary things. Okay, so then I have to go to the. Then I can create an equipment from here. Suppose I'm creating an equipment. Say projector underscore 01 HR team projector. Then if you are specifying to those within specific domain that you can create that, and if it is any serial number or any ID, then the projector number you can give. And equipment type, now you can see that projector equipment type is coming here. Okay, so that it is showing projector from for best pharma projector. Okay, here I can maintain the equipment status. So as I have not created an equipment status, it will not be coming here. Equipment status means it is actually in the working condition or it is not working condition. Okay, so that you can maintain it here. Then assigned locations. Okay, so here I have not created any locations, so it is showing as a blank. And the facility also, it is not facility one they have created, like the conference room. Hmm. So what is the difference between location and facility? Basically, location is a broader area. Suppose there is a completely one particular SEZ. Okay, in that SEZ can be called as a location. But suppose inside SEZ you are having a 10 different meeting rooms. Okay, then in that case, that those meeting room, suppose a meeting room or conference room, you can specify those conference room or meeting room. That will be called as a facility. Okay, and here you can maintain the contact number of that facility management team, so that any urgency, in case of any emergency, you can call that number. Okay, so I'm just giving a random number here. Any specific hints or comments you want to give, then you can maintain it here. Okay, so now I have created a new equipment. Okay, so after creation of an equipment, there are three additional field will be pop up here, like offering, base cost, additional cost. Okay, so you can maintain this thing here. Suppose I'm going to offering. So at present, it is actually it is showing this equipment is not in use. Okay, there are no scheduled offering for this equipment. Suppose you are conducting a classroom training, that is your scheduled offering, and this equipment is already in use. Okay, so you will not be able to pick up this equipment once in the same time. Okay, the same equipment you can't use in a two different training program at the same time. Okay, so that is the reason of it. So here in the scheduled offering, whatever the equipment you are mentioning, that will be available shown here. Okay, the next one is a base cost. Okay, so you can maintain the cost here, means cost of this equipment. Okay, so base cost, your currency measure, you can maintain that. If any additional cost means for the maintenance, for it any maintenance required. Okay, so that cost also you can maintain it here. This is was for your reference. So this is the way you can go and create equipment type and equipment here directly, and you can maintain that. So in physical resources, we have equipment status as well, facilities, locations. If I go to the locations, I have not created any locations here. So what are the relevant location? I can go and create new locations here. Like we have maximum capacity of that location, location type. Okay, facility, we can see the conference room. Okay, so all these things can be highly, you can maintain, it can be maintained, and it can be used whenever you are creating any scheduled offering. Okay, so just to summarize today's session, so we have covered today in the most important part, that was your how to create an approval processes and how to create an approval roles we have seen, and how to attach those things to a particular training program, that is an item that we have seen. And
Yeah,
also,
the approval process we discussed, right?
yes, yes. Any
See,
questions
in
you have?
approval process, yeah, just as the name we are declared, right? Like I don't know how it will flow. That will go to the any users
Hmm.
specifically.
Ha,
The
ha.
assignment we have not yet seen, correct?
Yes, yes. Actually, assignment I have shown you na, that whenever I'm going to, and when I've shown you specific items here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the specific item, there is a thing called yes or no process, right? Suppose there is a yes, and one there is an approval process, approval required. Suppose I'm showing a no, it is there is no approval required. If I'm saying
Correct. Like
yes,
the approval process you define, no? First step supervisor
hmm,
approver,
hmm,
where we are given two step, one step, something that way. Correct.
yes, yes, yes.
So the first step to whom we should go, second step to whom we should go.
Okay, okay. So that actually you're talking about from an user point of view, means how the approval
Yeah,
flow will look like. Okay. So that we will be showing. Actually, at present, I have just created and I have attached to an item only. Okay.
I got
So,
it. Like I was just telling the clarification. Yeah, just for my clarification.
ha, ha. So that is actually I'll be giving a task for you. Okay. So what I will do. So you assign whatever at item. Actually, that is a part of your assignment. So I'm not. I'll be so if any you are facing any issue, just you let me know. So after attaching to an approval process to an item, okay, what we can do, you assign this item to a particular user. Okay. So after attaching it to a user, you go to the user screen. Okay. So you go to the user screen here, like I'll show you where it will be appearing. Go to the learner page, that is your home page of the learning. Go to your catalog and you pick that item which is having an approval process. Okay. Actually, today I have covered the backend part, like how to attach an approval, but how it will be appearing to the user. Okay. So suppose there is a training program in my catalog. Okay, it is showing say annual product review, and it is showing pending approval. Okay, so means this item actually I have requested to go for it individual training. Then it is asking for an approval.
Okay.
Okay, so it is pending approval. Similarly, I can go to a particular item which is having two-step approval. Okay, so you what I will suggest you. So you assign this. There is a item which is having two level of approval. Then you go to that user. User is S das here. So you can go to that user and you just see how it is coming there. Okay. So I'll just going for browse all courses from here. If it is there is no approval required, you can directly jump on and you can directly start the training program. If it is
Mhm.
not, then it will say that yes, you have to choose this approve. You have to it will go through your approver or manager, whatever the workflow you have designed. That you have to choose, pick and choose from there.
Okay.
So I think it is loading. It's a bit slow. Huh. So here you can see there are training programs which is highly rated. By seeing an item, you can directly see that whether any approval is attached or not. If it is showing, say, free directly start button, it is showing, then that means the admin has not attached any workflow to that particular item. Okay. Suppose if it is showing, say, no, it will go for an approval, then it will automatically show that yes, this course is involves approval is required. Hmm. So you see, there are many courses. Suppose let's see, I will be going to this course. Say, enroll.
So the course name is item, is it?
Course is basically item. We call it as item. Okay. So here there is a welcome to the pharmaceutical. If I click enroll here, okay, so they have some in the backend, they have not attached something, so it is showing error. Because it is a test system of my friend, I have not tried actually in the front end what other things are there. Okay.
Okay.
So what we
Okay.
can do as an assignment, you can attach. I think I have shared that assignment or not. I have to check. Okay. So there is a thing called that backend configuration, you know, right? So I have already shown you. In the front end, basically, you have to attach that item means into a catalog. Okay, and that otherwise you can assign directly into the catalog, and users would be able to access that catalog. Okay, then in from that catalog, you have to go to that particular course directly from here. Then you have to say assign to me. Okay, so it is showing directly start course here. Okay, that means it is this course is doesn't require any approval. Okay, so if any it requires any approval, then it will go to the approval area. Okay, so it will say that level 1 approval is this, level 2 approval is this. You just try it out. If nothing is happening, then just let me know so that I will be showing in the next session. Just WhatsApp me or anything. Okay, I will show in the front end how it will work. Front end is very easy. So backend, what are the configuration I have shown you, same thing will be repeated here. Like you level 1 approver, suppose say supervisor, then it will say actually the system will ask, system will not determine, suppose the supervisor is maintained, automatically it will come. Otherwise system will give you a free hand, like who is your supervisor, you have to choose. Okay,
Okay.
so that you can choose and you can send the approval to him. Okay, so once it is done, that again it will go to the finance approval. Okay, suppose you have hard coded that finance user, then it will go to that finance user. Otherwise you have to choose. Okay, so that are the things we can do in the entire workflow process. So almost 70% to 80% I have completed from the back end. Only the front end you have to see how it will look like in the front end. You just try this and you just let me know if any issue you are facing. That's all for today. And any questions you have?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Madan.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
tomorrow we have classes, right?
Yes. As long as you are saying if
Yeah,
you
and
need any.
Sunday I need a break.
Okay,
On Sunday means
no
here
problem.
Monday for you
Okay,
Monday.
okay. Then we'll start on Monday. Okay.
Yeah,
You need
so
any.
because
You
I
just
have to
let me
visit
know
my
because
friend.
I am available. So
Okay.
anytime in the morning. So you just let me know
Yeah,
if you want
tomorrow I
any.
will attend, but day after tomorrow I can't, like, because I have to go to
Okay, it
my
will be
friend.
Sunday for you. Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks.
yeah.
Bye.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye.